But Josh Thompson met with the media yesterday. 4 LSU Tigers did so. It was Josh Thompson. It was Mansour Delane. It was Caden Durham. And it was somebody else on defense. West Weeks was the other player that met with the media. So I've got an interesting story up right now on the Louisiana Sports.net on the defense and how those guys kind of felt like they played in the opener. Going to have a column up tomorrow about the team's mindset entering a non-conference game after a monster opener. So I'll have that on the website tomorrow. But Thompson talked about a number of different things, and I thought had a lot of interesting things to say. Let's start with what they saw on the tape when they watched it as an offensive line against a really, really good defensive line from Clemson.
I think a lot of it was just little technique things, right? Crossing over, two gaps, whatever it was. It's individualized from guy to guy, right? There's certain things that everybody can work on, everyone needs to work on, and having those 2 or 3 things in a week, right? Something Coach Sloan said to us earlier this week, and I thought it was great. Every week you want to pick 2 to 3 things that you can really, really focus on in practice. And whatever it may be, you're not going to lose doing those 2 or 3 things because that's where you need to grow. And so I think that's what's been, really big for us going forward.
I thought it was a good effort from the offensive line. The Pro Football Focus grades are a little bit rough in the run game, and the tackles weren't great, it says, in the passing game. But they held up, and LSU's game plan was such that they weren't exposed and asked to do too much. But I asked Josh Thompson, how important is the run game to what y'all are trying to do on offense? Because it's something we talked about all August long. It's something that's been a focal point around here since last year where they couldn't run the ball. And I just wanted to get a sense from one of the guys in the trenches there, how important it is for them to find a way to establish that presence.
It's huge. Our mentality as an offensive line is we want to establish that run. We want to be physical. We want to be dominant in the run game. And, we want to impose our will. That's our focal point. That's something that we really want to stick on, throughout the course of the season, because that opens up things for the pass game. That makes it easier for us. That makes it easier for the receivers. That just helps our offense in general. But it also sets a tone for us, as a unit, as an offensive line, and as an offense.
That, to me, is said just like he covers the team. That is exactly what we've been preaching since August 1. They may not lead the country in rushing, but if they can set the tone and they can open some lanes and make teams have to respect that running game, what they've got at quarterback, what they've got at receiver is just going to take over games against most defenses. So that's spoken exactly like what the fans have said, what the media has said, and that's a guy who's in the wars and knows exactly what is going on there. Now, they didn't run the ball great in August. I said that. Everyone who's out there said that. It was tough, but we got a glimpse into what they were working against on Saturday because you saw that Clemson ran the ball 20 times for 31 yards. So maybe, just maybe, they are okay at run blocking. They were just running up against a buzzsaw. And I asked Josh Thompson about that.
Yeah, you guys saw, they're a phenomenal defense, right? And iron sharpens iron. It's a tale as old as time. I think if you look at us from spring to now, you can see the growth. And it's one of the coolest things, right? There's so much talent in this room, this offensive line room. And, the track that we're on and our ability to keep growing with that focus, I think it's great. And I think that defense is a really big part of, why we've been able to improve so much.
I think personally that working against that defense for a month got LSU's offense ready for Saturday. I said that I was hopeful of that last week. I wrote about it, LouisianaSports.net, and I think it manifested because you saw how good the defense was, and I think LSU was prepared for how good Clemson's defense was. And again, I think Clemson's defense is good. I really do. I think Peter Woods is a star. I think TJ Parker is a problem. I think Woodaz at running back is really a linebacker is really tough. I think Terrell is one of the better corners in the ACC. I think they're good, and I thought LSU was ready for it. Now, shifting a little bit, this is Josh Thompson talking about his journey to LSU from the spring and to now and what kind of his goals are. But we start with coming in after his semester was over and getting ready for spring ball. And this is what he had to say about that.
Obviously I was dual enrolled, and that was rough. But I graduated, I got in, and it was really great. The coaching staff, Adam Kleffner, Coach Brad, those guys were really, really great in helping me pick up that offense super quickly, and I think I picked up most of it, before the spring was over. I think it was, honestly, I did not have too much trouble picking up the offense. I think it was a very smooth process, and obviously there were still things to learn and still things to grow on, and I'm still learning every single day. But from that initial aspect of getting getting everything conceptually, one of the greatest things about, this is the third offense I've had to learn, in college, and you learn that it's all the same concepts with different names. That's what it is.
So he's up to speed, and that was a question because he comes in, like, when LSU started spring ball last year, Josh Thompson was enrolled at Northwestern taking classes. Like, he couldn't be at Baton Rouge because Northwestern's on the quarter system, and he was late arriving. He missed like a week and a half of LSU spring workouts. And so he had to come in and catch it on the fly. Like, yes, they are in the spring, they're going to be able to slow some things down for you, but they're not going to compromise the entire offensive installation just because this one guy is 2 weeks late. Like, they're going to keep rolling, and he's just going to have to catch up very quickly. And it sounds like he did that, which is, a big credit to him. Question is, why LSU? Josh Thompson had options. He's a Big Ten starter at Northwestern, had some quality PFF grades against Ohio State and Michigan, and you had options. And the question is, why would you go to LSU?
Coach Davis, he said to me that he was going to help me become an NFL player and that we were going to go win a national championship. And those were two things that I wanted more than anything, right? That's my goal. That's been my goal since I was a kid. And that national championship, more than anything, is, just to even picture it, it's got to be the coolest thing ever. And, that's something that I want to touch.
That's saying a lot. That is saying a lot. And I think you never know what you're going to get in player interviews. You never know who's comfortable in front of the mic and who's not. Trust me, nobody was putting a microphone in front of my face when I was 19, 20, 21 years old. Nobody. So, it's a different thing than a lot of folks haven't dealt with. You never know who's going to be coachable from the sense that they're just going to give you cliche after cliche. Garrett Nussmeier is very obviously a very bright guy. He's a very personable guy. You see him cutting up with his teammates. You see him dancing on the field. You see he's obviously a very personal guy, well adjusted. He's engaged to be married, like he's a fifth-year college player. He gets in front of the microphone. You don't get anything. You just don't. I'm thrilled he's the quarterback of my football team. When he talks, I barely can listen. And you never know when that's going to happen too. But you never know when somebody's going to say something that is emotionally driven. And in that case, like, Josh Thompson's not afraid to sit there and say, I want to win the national championship. And some schools, some players, some teams are hesitant to do that. And I get the sense that everybody on that team is centrally focused on doing the things that are necessary to get to that ultimate goal. And while that ultimate goal is still there, and it very much is for this team, you get such a committed workforce, you get such a unified team, such a positive vibe. All that stuff is so good. I think about the 2023 LSU baseball team, where Jay Johnson has told the story a lot. Like, sat him down first day of practice, like, what do y'all want to do? What do y'all want to be? Dylan Cruz stood up and said, I want to win the national championship. He's like, okay, do you want to do that? Like, here's what we have to do. And there are some coaches that don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. I very seriously doubt that Nick Saban at any point in a August team meeting started talking about winning national championships. But I do know that there are some programs that have discussions about that. And, like, you can talk to these guys and they'll tell you that it's 1-0 every week. And I've got a column coming up. I'll spoil the column for you a little bit on LouisianaSports.net, and I'll probably talk about it on tomorrow's show. I'm going to write about what I heard from the players yesterday about preparing for week 2. It's not Clemson, it's Louisiana Tech. And those are two very different things. And the answers they gave were pretty stout. It was, I don't care who we're playing. We got a lot of work to do. And whoever is playing us next, like, it's their problem. Like, I think that the focus this team has every week and going 1-0 and the maturity, because you brought in so many older players from the transfer portal who are not wide-eyed and who've been through the wars and have won a lot of games and have lost a lot of games and know that this is their last chance, whether that's to get on an NFL draft board or to win a national championship or to do whatever, play in the playoff. The maturity level on this roster, I think, is pretty strong. And in the same way, and I talked yesterday to Wes Weeks about this, and this will be a quote that I put in my column for tomorrow. He said last year they probably didn't bring a lot of energy against Nicholls because you were just gone on the road, high-profile opener, Sunday night, Las Vegas, LSU, USC, and you blew a lead late. So you come back and you're playing an FCS school in Nicholls, and where's your motivation? Where's your commitment level? Where's your energy? And it wasn't good enough. And because of that, you were in a dogfight with Nicholls late in the second quarter. You were giving up 65-yard touchdown runs to some running back named Guggenheim. That's the energy level that you got from LSU in week 2. And it didn't matter because they were playing Nicholls. And they got hot, and they beat South Carolina after falling down 17-0, and they beat Ole Miss in a crazy overtime game. There was a ton of drama. And it wasn't like it derailed the whole season. But I think it, may have spoken to the fabric of the team that they couldn't regroup well enough. And we'll see what happens to this team if and when they lose their first game. But right now, after that win, the quotes I got yesterday suggest these guys are going to be locked in. They're going to be ready to roll. And I think Josh Thompson's a really big part of that as a first-year player in LSU on the offensive front. I liked what I heard from the players yesterday. I'll write about it on tomorrow's show. That's Josh Thompson sound from yesterday. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.